Oh, hi. I was just wondering if someone could help me with a quick question I had. Do you have a minute? Okay. Well, I was reading the October Watchtower in for 2019. It was on the website. Um, and it has all these articles about the tribulation and how they will be the only religion that survives the tribulation and things like that. You should stay faithful to their leaders. It's called the slave and stuff like that. But yeah, it's on the jw.org website. Um, yeah, and then you know how they have also the public version. They have two versions of the Watchtower on the website. The study version and the public version. Yeah, well, the public version omits all that stuff. Like you have to obey the slave, stay faithful to the organization, and they're the only religion that will survive Armageddon. Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of religions out there, right?
Well, no, I don't mean why
And there's a
that's.
lot of and there's a lot of difference in their teachings. And basically, um, if for feeling that way, personally, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Is that there's not too many religions that recognize what the kingdom really is, what it will accomplish, and that's something that was made available. You know what we're hoping for after the sin of Adam and Eve. We believe that his purpose never changed. In fact, in Genesis 3:15, it points out that there would be, a means of gaining that hope of what Adam and Eve had, and that hope was what? It was everlasting life. The only reason they would die is if they disobeyed their Creator, right? I'm sure you're familiar with that one. And so all through that, we've been basing our teachings on what the scriptures say, what the kingdom truly is. We believe that really, when it comes to the teachings of the Bible, we're probably the only ones that stick to the standards. There are things that were in Exodus. There were things that the people had to abide by. That was the law covenant. That all changed when Jesus died. Now there was a new means that you had to display or personality you have to display in your lives, to remain on God's side. And a lot of things that are permissible today, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
A
not.
lot
I'm
of
not.
things that are permissible in different religions today are not what the Bible teaches. In fact, they go against Bible teaching. And so when it comes to abiding by the standards of the Bible, well, I think we could pretty much say that we're probably the only ones that adhere that close to it.
Wow. Well, I also I mean
Well,
it's kind of
okay,
I
go
mean
ahead.
I see myself like Paul, like he said he was a sinner and the chief of sinners, and he magnifies Christ, not himself, not his own obedience or anything. Romans 3 says that fall short of God's glory, and there's none righteous, no, not one. And you're just telling me how righteous you are. But
No,
anyways, could
I'm just
could I get
saying
back to
that.
something else? I mean, you gave a long discourse there. I think you misunderstand my question. My question was really about why the difference between what you would give to the public and what your study edition would be. Do you have insider information?
Oh no, the the general public gets one, and
Right.
basically they aren't getting the other one because they're not at the meetings.
They're
I mean, if they
not at the
want that
meeting.
copy of it, they can gladly get it.
Oh, I see.
But
Well, it
yeah.
seems to me, that's a thing that certain religions do, like Mormonism does that. They don't come up and tell you if you obey the Mormonism, you could be a god of your own planet, and the Watchtower doesn't come up and tell you right away, you can join, but if you leave, then we all won't talk to you anymore, and your family won't
Well,
talk
there's
to
a
you.
disciplining, yeah.
Yeah. So
But that doesn't mean you're forever out. I mean, if you have somebody
no, 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 no. I'm
that
not. I'm
is
not bringing up
living in,
shunning.
okay,
I'm
no,
not.
just
No, 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 no. I'm
no,
not
just let
bringing
me
up.
explain.
No,
This
I
is what
don't
I'm
want
saying.
to. I'm trying to get you to understand the question. You keep
Well,
like.
I'm trying to answer what you just
Yeah.
said
No, I wasn't.
because it is true. If somebody is leading a life that doesn't
Again, I'm not
conform to
talking about that. I'm talking about how you don't tell people that up front, and you don't even emphasize that to the children who get baptized. There's
oh
layered
yes, we
info.
do.
There's
There
layered.
are things that they have to go through a study. There are
Yeah.
questions that they are
Yeah.
asked
Yeah.
prior to their
Uh-huh.
getting
They
baptized.
can understand the repercussions of that when they're like 8 years old, 10 years old. But anyways, what I'm talking about
Oh,
is that Jehovah's Witnesses don't come up to your door and say, if you don't follow the governing body, you're going to be destroyed in Armageddon. There's layered information. They give you these hooks like paradise, unity, love, and we're the only this, that, and the other. That's called outsider information, and the two magazines are very different. I don't think you want to be distributing this content, to the public. That's even why they used to have the Awake magazine. It was just very lighthearted
well,
and fun, and you don't get this tribulation stuff and doom and gloom and threats. If you don't join Jehovah's Witnesses until later, they ease you into that gradually.
I would disagree with that.
Really?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
If they want to study the Bible, we'll sit down and study the Bible.
Right.
They have their own publication.
Right.
We want them to have their own copy of the Bible, and we're not going to force them to make any decisions.
Yeah,
If they don't
I'd
want to
never said
study it,
that.
they don't like what
Yeah.
they heard. We're not forcing anybody
Yeah.
to
I,
be
I
doing
wasn't
it.
bringing up that topic. I didn't think you did force them, but it's very deceptive, and how you have two different magazines. So I'm just wondering why, because you say that they say it's so imminent, right? Why wouldn't you just tell someone this straight up? Why would you omit it from the public edition just because they don't go to meetings? What does that have to do with it? Wouldn't they need to know this information right away? I mean, your leader
They
said it
slowly
was
do
the
learn it.
last minute of the last
Okay,
second
let
of
me
the
talk.
last
Let me
day
talk.
of the last hour of the
Yeah.
system. Did you hear that
Okay,
one?
let me tell you this. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. From the outset, when we sit down with somebody in the publication, we'll highlight some of it. But basically, we have publications that we use that help them to appreciate just what our standards are according to the Bible. And if they don't want to believe it, that's fine. We're not going to tell them they got to keep doing it. But there's a lot of terms that we use that aren't understandable to just put in one publication because people are going to be confused. Because we
Confused?
use terms like the faithful slave. Who is it? The governing body. Who is it? Jesus said there would be ones that would be taking the lead in feeding spiritually the flock, his followers.
Jesus
All right?
also warned
We
about
feel we have that.
Jesus also
And
warned
getting
about
back to Paul,
Jesus
look what
also
Paul
warned about
was.
false prophets, didn't he? When they fit
What's that?
Jesus also warned of false prophets. Wouldn't they fit that
Yeah,
category?
he did.
Uh-huh.
In sheep's clothing.
Right,
He
right.
certainly did.
They sure
And why were
predicted the
they?
end
Why
times
were they
dates.
turned that way?
They
Were turned that way
predicted
because
many
of their teachings weren't in
many end
accordance
time
with.
dates, didn't they?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere because I don't think you really want to listen.
Oh, I
I'm
listened to
trying
you
to
for a
keep you
long
to
time, but
appreciate
you
that. You
you
know what?
keep talking.
What's that?
You talked for about 5 minutes, and you didn't even know if I was
No, no,
still
no.
here.
I'm just trying to get something in to help you to appreciate what we believe. And you stay on the same subject though.
Yeah,
We
because
will
you
tell
haven't.
people what they want to know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to go and sit down and we're going to tell them if you believe this is right, just because the religion you're involved in says it is, but according to the Bible we feel it's not. we'll reason with you on why it's not.
I
I mean,
think,
we're not going to force anybody if they don't want. Go
yeah,
sit down and teach somebody.
I
But in
wasn't
the two
talking about that.
magazines is what you're always trying to get back at. I mean, they have the opportunity of doing both, and I think the major one that goes to the public pretty much sticks with the kingdom, what it is, what God's name truly is. It was used in the original writings over 7,000 times.
The word Jehovah?
Well, the Tetragrammaton.
Right. We
Jehovah's
know
the
about
closest
that.
to it, and there's many of them that agree with that same thing.
Yeah, in the Old Testament, we agree with that, and that's
And
great.
if we want to get, I don't know what you want to say, but Jesus then wouldn't be really sounded that way. It would be Yeshua. And so, as far as
I don't get your point
publications,
there.
I think that both of them point to the same thing basically.
I don't think
And
so. They
that's what
skip
the
all these
kingdom
articles.
arrangement really
Stay
is.
faithful through the great tribulation. They skip all those articles. And looking back on some of the other, double editions, it's very strategic, and they definitely have insider and outsider information. I mean, there's even information about the organization they don't ever tell you, like about the Australia Royal Commission, about different other child sexual abuse lawsuits, about their UN association. So they also have information, they never even.
I'll guarantee you, whoever you are, that there is no involvement with this organization, with the United Nations or anything else like that.
Yeah, they were for about 10 years. They were called a non-governmental organization in the United Nations, and at the same time calling it the scarlet red beast of Revelation, the disgusting thing. And if you to become an NGO, you have to sign something that says you agree with all their values and ideals. So they did that for 10 years until somebody exposed it in a newspaper, and then they quit the next day.
It sounds to me that you're getting a lot of information that doesn't come directly from this organization.
Right, I said they don't tell you. Right, of course you think they're gonna. What do you think they're gonna print it in the latest Watchtower?
I'll tell you what, we don't have anything to hide.
Then why don't? Did you know about that? Then why don't you know about the UN?
Oh, I disagree with you.
Or will you check it out?
I stick to what I believe, and I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to look up on stuff that somebody has criticized about. Some that have even been witnesses at one time that now have their own standards.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just a fact. You should have accurate knowledge about the organization. So maybe you should.
I do.
No, you don't. You said
I've been within it for 40 years.
You said they weren't ever connected to the United Nations. So you don't have accurate knowledge then. You should look it up. I know they don't like you to look up things.
I kind of get where you're coming from. So you know what? I don't think we're going to get anywhere in our discussion. And so I'm not going to even argue about anything.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for being so nice about it. Thanks for talking to me.
You bet.
God bless.
Yep.